Okay, we're starting with a recipe which is called beef stew. In Catalan it's estofat de vedella. There are different ways to do this in Catalunya. And now that it's fall, basically I've introduced a new ingredient, which is these chestnuts that I roasted yesterday in a pan that has holes, so the fire really gets into the chestnut, and then you peel them, and I have here ready to put into the stew later on. But the main ingredients are the beef, this beef, which is part of the leg. It's really muscular, really hard, so it needs a long time of cooking so that it gets tender. It doesn't have a lot of fat. I think in English it's called shank, or the leg. In Catalan this is the jarret. And then in here we have a couple of onions, a couple of leeks, and 1 carrot chopped. We have some flour, we have some olive oil here. Let me reset my camera. Some olive oil. I'll leave the exact amount later. Some salt, then some tomatoes that I boiled so they are easier to peel, and then 2 more carrots. And then this is in Catalan it's called farsallet d'herbes. It's basically a wrap of aromatic herbs. It has, I think has what's the name? Has thyme. It has what's the name of this one? I forgot the name in English. I'll set it up in the description. Thyme, and then oregano and bay leaf. I forgot the name. Anyway, I'll put it up later. And then some people put peas. I like putting peas. Gives a little bit of a sweet flavor. And then here I have some beef broth that maybe in another video I will also explain how I do my beef broth. That we'll use to moisture a little bit the stew. So the way we start is we're gonna set up some fire here in this cast iron pan. We're just gonna go for just medium fire. We're gonna add some of our oil here. I'm just gonna use it like this, just some of our oil. What we're trying to do here is we're going to put our meat here, and we're gonna put a little bit of flour in it and salt. And what we're trying to do when we do this is we want to seal, because we're gonna like stir fry really quick the meat, just to seal it. We want to seal the meat, like create kind of like a crust, so that when we actually stew it, the juices don't go out of the meat. What that's gonna do is that it's gonna allow the flavors and the juices of the meat stay while you stew it, instead of just getting into the outside of it. So I add a little bit of Himalayan salt. I don't really use Himalayan salt, I just run out of the normal salt, but that should be fine. Just a little bit, and then just more flour, and then we massage it so that all the meat has the flour to seal. Set up the fan, and yeah, this recipe, my mom does it differently, and my mom is kind of like my mentor on cooking. She doesn't put flour in the meat, and her mom didn't do it either. I'm basically breaking the tradition of the family now, but I like it with flour because the crust is I really feel that it helps with the crusting and sealing the meat, and later I feel like the meat is juicier. So, all right, I think that might be enough. We have it all properly distributed. Okay. Now, I'm gonna check on our fire. Gonna get one of these guys for these cast irons. I don't want to burn myself. This is getting ready. I'm gonna leave this here. So I'm gonna get spatula to bring it in. Again, we just wanna golden, like we just wanna brown this a little bit. We don't wanna cook it. We're just looking to seal it. So the fire shouldn't be really hot, but also not low fire, right? Maybe this pan was a little bit small for all this meat, but I think it will do it. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit more of oil. All right. Okay. So now, there is something interesting on the concept of like this technique of sealing the meat. I couldn't find a name in English. I found like some people say stir fry, but that's not exactly it, because you're not stir frying. You're actually just browning the meat for a little bit. So if anyone knows, I would like to know what's the name of that. Basically sealing the meat once you're stewing it so that the juice don't go out. I'm gonna try to find pieces that are really red, so we seal all those sides too. All right. I will give the exact quantities. But basically this is just around 10 to 15 chestnuts, 5 tomatoes, 3 carrots, and 1 carrot that we're gonna stew. This we're gonna put later on. Here we have 2 onions, 2 leeks, and 1 carrot, so total 4 carrots, 150 milliliters of olive oil, some salt, I eyeball it, and here is, I don't know how much is this of broth. This might be like 250 milliliters, 300 milliliters, and then 50 grams of flour, and this I think this is around 150 grams of peas. All right, and then on the meat side it's a kilo of 300 grams. This will fit 5 people, 6 people. Oh, and I forgot the potatoes. I forgot to show the potatoes. I forgot to show the potatoes that I will add later. No rush on the potatoes. Alright, this is starting to get sealed. There's some parts still that are red, so I'm gonna find them. I'm gonna lower the fire now. Alright. And now we're gonna get another pan where we're gonna put the meat to rest, while we use this same pan with some of the meat juices to actually cook the veggies. I need a better spoon for this. Starting to smell really good. It's released some of the juices. See here, stick. That's okay. Now we're gonna put some more olive oil and we're gonna start cooking our veggies. clean so we can use it. 3-second rule, right? Or whatever seconds, I forgot how many. Anyway. Alright, so this is just some flour stick here. Now I'm gonna put more olive oil because we're gonna start cooking the veggies. Need the cover. There you go, that one. A little bit so. Okay, we're gonna put the veggies now. Let's just give it olive oil. It's gonna need a lot of olive oil. Alright, so as we cook this, I'm gonna make a closer look so you can look at the meat too. We're gonna cut the tomatoes in small slices, and once the veggies are golden, we're gonna put the. All right, I'm back. So I've just added some ingredients that we're gonna put at the end. Potatoes, just to have them here. Remember. And now I just checked this while you were offline or out the video, and these veggies are starting to get some golden color, so it's about time we also add now the tomato and the rest of the flour. Why do we add flour? Well, we add flour so that it gets a little bit more dense, the juice of the stew. Okay, so here I'm gonna divide the tomatoes. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna add the rest of the flour. And we're gonna start adding some aromatics into the mix. It's looking pretty good. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of water. It's a little bit dry down there. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of water to this. Okay. And now we're gonna let this stew for, I think it's gonna be, I don't know, let's say we're gonna make it boil. I think I'm gonna add the broth now and make it boil for 5 minutes so that we get everything together here with the flavor of the broth, meat broth. So I'm gonna add the broth. And let's bring it to boil and let it boil for 5 minutes. The pan is really hot, so this is gonna start boiling really soon. Move this away. Actually, I'm gonna put some more water so we can get all the juices out of the broth. There we go. Perfect. All right. So we're gonna let it boil for 5 minutes, and then we're gonna put the veggies into the meat casserole. So 12:02, 12:07, we're gonna transfer that, and it's just gonna cook slowly there. In my notes, I just checked that I should have put half the broth here and then half the broth there, but I don't think it's gonna make a difference, so I'm fine with the way I did it. gonna put the herbs right in the middle. And yeah, be right back. We're back. It has been 5 minutes since the broth and a little bit of water has been boiling here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move all this into the meat. The meat, remember that we just sealed it, and now we're gonna add this in there. So really carefully. All right, going there. All right, there we go. And we want this to cook really slowly. So I'm just gonna mix a little bit so the meat is well distributed with the veggies. So we're gonna leave this cooking for an hour, covered in low fire. This has been cooking for over an hour. I also realized I forgot to put an ingredient that it gives a lot of flavor, which is basically a garlic head, but it's what it is. Now that's how we have it. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring the meat here. I'm gonna remove meat pieces from this combination, and I'll be back with you guys. And what we're now gonna do is I'm gonna use a strainer to put we want just liquid, okay? So I'm actually I put the garlic later. That was a mistake, but hopefully it gives a little bit of flavor at the end. And now I'm going to get this over here, and I'm going to use the strainer. Let's see how it goes down here. Just as this, like this. All the veggies, and we've come up with this pure broth here. I have some water in the pan. I'm gonna put this over here. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the carrots and the peas. Okay. We're gonna put 100 milliliters of, this is called, like, it's wine. I don't know the name in English. I'll also add this later when I do the proper research on the name in English. But we just want to add 100 milliliters of, it's a cooking wine. It's really dry. So we're gonna put it here. I'm also gonna add the chestnuts, and then the potatoes. Maybe I cut too many potatoes. I think maybe I need some more water for this amount of potatoes. And then I'm gonna put the meat back in. I'm gonna mix it up. Everything evenly distributed. We'll see how the chestnuts taste in this. I've never tried this, so I think it's gonna be yummy. It has a little bit of a sweet flavor. And I think it's gonna be pretty good. We will see. I'm gonna add more water. Let's see. And then I'm gonna let this sit for 30 minutes. Well, this is the final result. Now we're gonna let it rest for 5 minutes, and then we're gonna serve it. We usually eat this with a little bit of bread to get all the juice. And yeah, that was it. I hope you enjoy it. Bye bye.